This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so first let us understand what DevOps is all about. Okay, here I'll be going with any topic. We'll be going from the basics till advanced part. Assume that we are all completely new. Okay, so here in our batch we are having freshers, we are also having working people, experienced people. Okay, but every topic will go from the basics till the advanced part so that you can work in the projects confidently. So do cooperate with me. If you already know some topic, just share your inputs. Okay. So let us learn together. Now, yeah, I believe you all can see the black screen. So now
Yes,
let
ma'am.
us talk about the software development process. Software development process in the sense, I mean to say, to understand the methodology better, let us talk about how an application is developed in the traditional approach, or else before DevOps, like how we are having, or what are the process, what are the teams involved in software development, or else to develop any application, what are the teams involved? Like there are many teams involved in developing an application in an IT company. Many teams involved, many people are involved. Okay, let's talk about the major teams like development team, QA team, ops team, right? These are the major teams which involve in developing and deploying an application, right? So, okay, let's talk about development team first. Who are the people involved here? Like if you are into IT, you might be already aware of this, but like I said, let's go from the basics. So you can say developers or programmers are involved here, right? And here, yes, testers or automation test professionals, yeah, automation test engineers will be involved here. And in ops teams, yes, admins, right, or else support team, yeah, these are the major people involved in here. Of course, admins, whoever working in support, network technicians, DBA, I'm including all of them here. Yeah. So these are the major teams. And what is the role? Like developers will be writing the code, they'll be working with the design of the application, they'll be working in analyzing the requirements given by the client, right? They'll be also working in building the application. They'll be also interacting with the customer, like client feedback for the application, right? These are the major tasks performed by this team. And what are the major tasks of developers? Like they test the code, right? Developers will be writing the code, so testers write the test cases. Maybe they might be doing, again, there are different types of testing, right? Like manual testing, automation testing. So they would be writing the test cases, identify the bugs and report the bugs. These are the major tasks of QA team or testing team, right? And ops team, yes, these are the major tasks. And ops team, yes, they'll be working with the servers, managing the servers. They'll be managing the services on those servers. They'll be checking the access, logins, right? All these would be taken care by ops teams. Of course, networks, all these would be taken care by ops team. In simple, we can say in short, in simple, infra management would be taken care by ops team. Of course, apart from this, they'll also take care of deployment. I'll also come to that part in a while. So this is how each team perform. And let's suppose, okay, developers have to perform some task. Let's say they need to write some new code, they need some new, let's say they need some infrastructure or else some change in the infrastructure. So they need some infrastructure support. So whatever infrastructure needs they have to perform these tasks, they will be requesting the ops team, and ops team would serve the request of dev team, isn't it? Or else QA team. If they need any new servers or else if they need any access to the servers, everything will be supported by ops teams. Am I correct? Also, in this process, let's suppose developers have requested for a new infrastructure or else let's say a new operating system. Ops team should serve their request. And before ops team serves the request of dev team, they should perform lot many checks, isn't it? Because ops team should check that if this change is done, is the infrastructure going to be stable? Are the services going to be stable? Isn't it? They have to make lot many checks, because if this change is done, ops team should be able to handle the infrastructure if something goes wrong, right? So ops team will be always looking for stability in the infrastructure. So yeah, they will take some time. It takes considerably lot of time to serve the request. Meanwhile, developers are still waiting for the change they need, right? So developers think that, or else developers don't understand why ops team is taking a lot of time to serve their requests and provide them with the infrastructure needs they have. Similarly, ops team don't understand why developers are always requesting some changes, because developers need some agility or changes in the infrastructure, right? So what happens here? Obviously, there arises some gap between the teams. Not only with dev team, the same is the case with the tester team. There arises some gap between the teams, isn't it? So how to overcome this gap? How to eliminate the gap? Why is this gap coming? Because each team doesn't understand the challenges of others. Each team doesn't know the challenges of others, the requirements of others, right? They were working as a separate team without knowing the process and challenges of others. No proper collaboration, no proper communication between them, no proper understanding. There's a huge gap between them. How to overcome this gap? Yeah. So that's one of the major challenges we have, how to overcome the gap between the teams and how to keep them working in proper collaboration. Yeah, this is one of the main challenges. What about other challenges? Let me talk about other reasons also. See, generally to develop an application, like I said, yes, developers write the code. Okay, testers will test the code, whichever written by developers. They'll identify the bugs. If they identify any bugs, they'll again report it. Developers will fix it. This process keep on continuing. Once the application is ready to deploy, they'll hand over it to the ops team, right? I'm talking about approach before DevOps, right? So what is happening here? Development team will be handing over the application to ops team. This is called officially release, like the application is ready for release so that it could be deployed on the production server so that end users can access it. So when developers hand over the application to ops team should deploy this application on the infrastructure, right? And so to do this, ops team should prepare the infrastructure, correct? They should create the servers, they should prepare the infrastructure, they should also install the required softwares for the application, correct? They should install required softwares, required packages, whichever the application needs, correct? Let's suppose here we are talking about Java application, and let's say this Java needs some Tomcat, maybe this Java needs some let's say some servers, some services. Let's say there is also PHP as a front end. Okay, so they have to work with all these softwares, package installations on those servers. Means basically ops team should prepare, create the infrastructure, should make this infrastructure ready to run the application by installing proper softwares, packages required for the application. Not only that, they should also check the right versions of the packages are installed, isn't it? Whatever dependencies this Java app is having, all the right versions should be installed, right packages should be installed, correct? All this takes considerably a lot of time. Also, sometimes something may happen, so like some mistakes may be happen, right? So to prepare the infrastructure, to make the environment ready for application deployment takes a lot of time. That's why deployment process is going slow, or it's slowing down. The process is getting slower because of this approach, correct? Not only this, ops teams should take care that there is no downtime for the server, so that application would be always running and end users should always use the application. Am I correct? Do you all agree with that? Any questions in this part?
Nothing.
Got it clear, all of you? Please confirm.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, so these are all the challenges ops team have. So to maintain to see that servers are not having downtime, to make the environment ready, with the right packages, with the right softwares, and with the right versions, all these takes time, and deployment process is becoming slower, right? It takes a lot of time. So this is how the process is happening. Now, with this process, like how to overcome this? Not only this, one more thing. Whenever development team is handing over the application to ops team, like they'll also provide them with the instruction document. Okay, this instruction document is going to have Lot of steps like what are the packages that should be installed, which operating system, which servers should be installed, which version of the OS should be there, what packages should be there, what servers. They'll also provide this instruction document. Again, there would be challenges with this. Whatever instruction document development team provide, yeah, that may not be compatible, or else that may not be understood by ops teams, right? Because the technical knowledge of development team is totally different from my ops teams, correct? Developers will be having knowledge of some programming languages, some build tools, right? Whereas ops teams will be having knowledge of some configuration management, monitoring the infrastructure, creating the infrastructure. So their technical skills of both the teams are totally different. Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so the instructions provided by development team may not be totally understood by ops team. Also, development team might have provided provided the document to provide the with the instructions on, let's say, on Linux. Let's say ops teams have also prepared servers for Windows, Mac, and so on. So the instructions vary from environment to environment. Am I correct? So
Yes,
all
ma'am.
these takes considerable lot of time, and again there will be always some mistakes may happen, means there might be some corrections or mistakes in the instruction document. These are going to be a huge challenges for the teams, for particularly for ops team to spin up the environment and make it ready, right? So this is the approach before DevOps, right? So now how is the process happening with DevOps? How DevOps can help us? Yes, now what is happening? There came a team called DevOps. This DevOps team will have the knowledge of the process of deploying the application. Means once developer write the code, okay, once testing team tested this application, they'll hand over it to DevOps team, not the ops team. This DevOps team will have the knowledge of process of deploying. Means they'll have the knowledge of how to deploy the application automatically on the production servers or any environment, right? Or also the instruction document provided by dev team can be understood by them, because this team, this DevOps team will have knowledge of how the development process happens. They need not write the code, but they know like what is the process involved there. They know how to execute the test cases. Just they should have the knowledge of the process, right? So that DevOps team can deploy the application automatically to production servers without any delay. They have good understanding of how to create the infrastructure that meets the meets the needs of the application. What are the required packages the application needs? All these can be handled by this DevOps team very effectively. So DevOps team is a team who will have the knowledge of the strategies, the tools, whichever required for DevOps, right? Like whichever required to automate the development process. Here the concept is whenever developer write the code, okay, it should hit the production servers automatically. How it can hit the production servers automatically? So this complete concept of automating the code to deployment. So how it goes to production automatically? There are so many tools involved in this process. There were so many strategies involved here. All these tools and strategies will be understood, or will be the DevOps person role. Means in this course we'll be learning about all the tools, all the strategies, whichever required to automate this process of taking the code till production. Once developer wrote the code, okay, once they are ready with the code, once testers have tested the code, or else once testers are ready with the test cases, how you take the code, how you build this code, then run the test case on this code, then how do you deploy it and how do you monitor it automatically? This is what is DevOps. In this course, we are going to learn this process of automation by using various DevOps tools and various strategies. That is the agenda of our course. Am I making sense, everyone?
Yes, madam.
So yeah, this is what we are going to learn in our course. So what are all the tools required? What are the strategies we should learn? We will be learning all of those things. But yeah, DevOps is a team which can help you. Once developer is ready with the code, how it happens, how it goes to production. That's a main agenda. Means in this process, a DevOps person should know how to automate the build process, how to automate the test process. It doesn't mean that a DevOps person should write the test cases. No, they should know how to execute the test cases given by testers, right? So how to deploy the application very quickly so that deployments are faster, economical, and products are qualitative, right? This is what is DevOps. So what DevOps is doing here, see, in a DevOps project, who are eligible for this? A developer can be eligible for this role, a tester can be eligible, any ops person, any DB, or else a fresher, or else anyone who are completely new, or else from a different environment are also eligible. How is that possible? It is possible because if you know, as a DevOps person, if you know the tools, if you know the strategies, okay, how to implement this DevOps, yeah, yes, you are eligible for a DevOps person. You need not learn or write a code as a developer. You need not write the test cases. But once developer give you the code and once test case are ready, how do you automate the entire process? That is what a DevOps person should be learning. That's what we'll be learning in our course. So what DevOps is doing, it will eliminate the gap between the teams because DevOps will have the process, will know the process of how to deploy it after code is written. So it eliminates the gap. Teams work together with the proper collaboration, with the proper understanding. Okay, thereby eliminating the gap. Also, DevOps can automate the whole process till production. Means whenever code is written, whenever any new feature is developed, it would hit the production servers automatically. Facebook is a best example for this, right? Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, all the major gigantic companies are already implementing it. And also many new companies, like any small company will be stepping into DevOps in a couple of years. So if you learn this DevOps tools, DevOps strategies, if you expertise them, definitely you'll have a great job prospect, right? You can take a Facebook. In this, development team will be there who will write the code. Testing team will be there who will write the test cases. Once code is ready, test cases are ready, DevOps teams will be automating the deployments to production. See, have you ever wondered how you can see a new feature suddenly in a overnight in a Facebook application or else in Amazon? Suddenly, whenever there is any festive season, you will see a new features in the application. How come they are upgrading the application suddenly? Isn't it? Also, depending upon the circumstances, like whenever COVID arises, suddenly you can see so many modifications in Amazon application. Have you ever noticed it? Have you ever wondered how come they were developing or releasing the features so quickly? Isn't it? Suppose tomorrow if there is any cyclone, maybe Amazon may be providing some sale, isn't it? How can they provide all those new features in the application very quickly? Have you ever wondered?
Yes, madam.
So
Yes,
how can
madam.
they deploy them so quickly? That's where DevOps is playing there. Yeah. So deployments are faster. So deployments are very faster. Okay. Qualitative products you can expect because every change developer make. Okay. Whenever developer is writing a new feature, it will go through all the process of continuous builds, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment. I'll talk about this also in detail in a while. So yeah, because of this process, they could hit the production servers immediately, right? So that end users will see the new features. So faster deliveries, deployments, qualitative products, uh, what else? Yeah, less human resources. Initially, more people are required because it's automation. Once you design the pipeline, what is this pipeline? I'll talk about it. So once you design the pipeline, just few people are enough. So less human resources means becoming economical. So that's what companies need, isn't it? So yeah, almost every company is diving into this DevOps approach. Yeah. So also human resources, like if we know these tools and strategies, we have a great job perspective, and whoever having these skills will survive in the market in the coming future, right? Because it is automating. Manpower will be reduced. Whoever will have this strong skills will survive in the market, right? So yeah, it eliminates the gap. It is automating the whole process. So what is DevOps now? And also, yeah, we have understood it came in to overcome the gap, to automate the process. Any other reasons why DevOps came in? Of course, DevOps came in. Again, another reason was also there. Third reason is to overcome the drawbacks of traditional software methodologies like waterfall and agile. Okay, let me also quickly go through those. Am I clear till this much? Can I get a quick confirmation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the
Yes,
software
ma'am.
methodology, like typical methodology like SDLC. If you take a software development life cycle, I believe you all know what is a development life cycle. If anyone knew, I'm quickly writing here. It's nothing but sequence of activities involved in development. Means for developing an application, there are different phases involved like requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, delivery and maintenance, right? They just go in one direction, each after the other. They just go in one direction, one phase of the other. Yes, it's called waterfall model, the typical methodology which served the industry for decades. Like each phase goes one by one. After analysis, they'll go for design. After coding, testing begins, and so on, right? But this methodology has posed lot of challenges for both the dev team and ops team. Both the teams face challenges because of this methodology. Developers face the problems like it's a very slow methodology. Like developers might be writing the code, let's say code is completed in August. It may be going for deployment on some December or so. Meanwhile, developers will be working on new code. Then testers will be finding the bugs in old code and come up with the bugs in old code. So developers have to keep this new code aside, fix the bugs in the old code, right? A lot of pressure for developers. Also because it will be deployed at a little longer for testing. Bug fixing also becomes slow because bug fixing, if done immediately, it will be faster and economical. If bug fixing is delayed, it would be really costly, also time taking. So bug fixing is also slow here. Not flexible methodology means, see, client gives you the requirements, let's say on 2021. Okay, once they give requirements, requirements are freezed. No more modifications to the requirements are accepted. No new requirements were also accepted. Okay, the requirements are freezed. What happens then? Maybe all this process takes some time, and 2023 they may be delivering the application. Right? During this time, they are not accepting any changes. But that doesn't work in reality, right? Particularly nowadays, almost all the clients come up with new requirements. So if they doesn't accommodate them, it doesn't work in reality. So complete software is all delivered at once, and sometimes client don't need it anymore because requirements were changed completely and the methodology cannot accommodate them. Am I correct? So yeah, lot many challenges. There are also many other challenges because of this methodology faced by development team. Also, operations teams face challenges like, because it's a slow methodology, they need to maintain server uptime for longer duration, which is a challenge. Manually maintaining server uptime for longer duration is again a challenge, right? Also, what are other challenges? Like they could not manage the infrastructure properly, meaning let's say there are some 100 servers. If something happened wrong in one server, they cannot just log in and check what went wrong or not, right? It takes some time. Like it takes some time to fix the issue, identify the issue and all, because there is no tool. They were not using any tools. Everything is happening manually, right? So that's another challenge. No proper monitoring the infrastructure. Like I said, everything is manual. If there are 5 servers or 2 servers, they can monitor perfectly. But when the infrastructure is very huge, yes, these are all the challenges posed by waterfall methodology, the very traditional methodology, like the basic methodology, right? So how to overcome these challenges? Yes, I believe majority of
Using DevOps.
Yep. Of course, DevOps is a methodology which solves this problem, but there is also another methodology came in between, like agile methodology. Okay, but agile methodology was successful to a certain extent. Like it could overcome the challenges of dev team, but challenges of ops team were still there. Means we made some other methodology like DevOps which can solve the problems of both. But let me also quickly give you an overview of agile methodology. Yes, agile can overcome challenges of dev team because in agile there were faster releases or else frequent releases, we can say every week or every alternative week there would be a release. Okay, bug fixing became faster. Okay, code is always stable and ready for deployment. Because of this, it could overcome the challenge of dev team. But how are these possible? How can it have frequent releases? Bug fixing became faster. How is this possible? Yeah, this is possible because Agile implements a concept called continuous development, continuous testing, continuous development, continuous testing, and a continuous integration. Again, what is this? We'll see the complete concept of this. Let me give you here an understanding of it. Let's suppose here code is developed in bits or chunks. So let's suppose that on week 1, developers are writing a chunk of code A. On week 2, this A would be tested. Meanwhile, developers are not sitting idle. They will be writing another chunk of code. And on week 3 again, this B will be tested. Meanwhile, developers will be developing another bit of code. And at some point again, this A and B will be combined and tested. Then only it makes complete product, right? Here, if you notice, every week development testing are happening parallelly, iteratively, right? So this is called continuous development. Continuous testing means development testing are happening parallelly, iteratively. It's not that after complete development testing begins like in waterfall methodology. Okay, development testing are happening parallelly, iteratively. And any new changes will be merged into the system. It's called continuous integration. So because it implements this concept, yes, it could overcome challenges of dev team. But challenges of ops team were still left over. So means we need another methodology which can overcome both the teams, challenges of both the teams. So that's where again DevOps came in. So DevOps can overcome the challenges of both development team and ops team, right? So how it can overcome? Yes, it can overcome because DevOps is nothing but continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration along with continuous deployment. Means any change developers make, any feature they develop will hit the production servers, means will be deployed. Of course, first it will be deployed to lower environment than to production. Okay, so continuous deployment, continuous monitoring. So because of the term continuous is important because these are happening iteratively, continuously for every change developer make. For every feature they develop, yes, they'll build it, they'll test it, they'll integrate it, they'll deploy it and monitor it. So qualitative products can be expected, faster deployments, less manpower. Initially to design this, you need more people. Once the process is streamlined with a single click is developer write the code. Then the next process, the complete process automated, right? So that is what is DevOps thereby having qualitative products and efficient deliveries of the product, right? So DevOps will increase the velocity of deployment process, thereby overnight they can include or they can release new features to the projects, to the end users. That's what end users require nowadays, right? So yeah, that is what is DevOps. Any questions on this part? Am I clear till this much, all of you? Like you may take a Facebook or Amazon, anything as an example, which yep. Any questions from anyone? Am I clear?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Security is a separate concept, Rajesh. It's not something we discuss in the demo class. Any more questions?
No, ma'am.
Is it all clear for everyone? You could confirm me in the chat window also.
One question, ma'am. If
Yes.
developer develops his
Louder,
application,
please. louder, please.
Maybe Java, yeah, maybe on Java, maybe on like any language. You have to know that language over like.
No, developers will write the code. That's what I'm saying. Either it could be
Uh,
Java project,
yeah,
.NET
during the
project.
deployment, how can we know like there's an error in
How can we know?
deployment stage? There is some error thing happening that the code is
We
not
will
fine
not be
to
working
deploy.
with the code. Okay, to deploy the application, how to deploy the application in different environments, what you have to do, that you are working. Gopichan, please unmute your. Please
Yes,
mute your. Once you pose your question, please keep muted. I got your question. Your question is like if you don't know the code, how can you know the deployment process of that application, right? Is that your question, Gopichan? Okay, see here, you need not know the code for deployment. Okay, you need not know how they wrote the code or the logic, or you need not know the programming language to deploy the application. What you need is like how the build process happens. Okay, once test cases are given, how do you run the test case on the application and how do you deploy it? Okay, here in the deployment process also, we are going to use Docker images. Okay, Docker came in and it revolutionized the entire development and deployment process. So once developer write the code and once developer pack their application along with the dependencies, you have to run those Docker images on different environments. That is bringing a lot of difference between the traditional approach of deployment and the DevOps approach. Once you know the Docker, your question will be answered. So in our class, yes, we are going to learn the approach of how this happens. Got it, Gopichan? So because the applications are containerized, it's called containerizing the application or Dockerizing the application. So with this process, either it is a .NET application or either it is a Java application, it's a Docker image for you. Okay, you run this Docker image in the same way, whatever be the application inside it. Okay, you will not be working with the underlying each components, whichever required for Java or whichever required for .NET. That's how development and deployment process got revolutionized with the DevOps. Is your question answered, Gopichan? If yes, please write yes or no, whatever. Please confirm.
Yes, ma'am. There's another question. Like we work on tools, right?
Sorry?
We work on automation, right?
Your voice is not clear, Gopichan. You can only write in the chat window. A lot of disturbance. I could not hear you properly. Please put them in the chat window. Okay, if you have any disturbance, please put them in the chat window. Meanwhile, I'm taking another question from Fatai. What is the difference between continuous integration and continuous deployment? Okay, I'll tell you. See, continuous integration means suppose you are having the code, okay, your application, they are writing the code. And let's say they have added a new feature, means they have written some new code. Okay, this new code or else new feature will be merged into the existing code. That's called continuous integration, means already the system application is there. Let us take an example. Amazon application is there, right? Amazon.com. Okay, which we use for our shopping needs. So Amazon.com is already application is there. Okay, whenever any new feature is developed by developers, they write some code, right? That particular new code will be merged into the system, into the existing code. That's called continuous integration. After merging, they'll also build the application again. That's why it's called continuous builds. Again tested, continuous testing. Okay, continuous integration. Build the code, test the code, merge it into the system, and then deploy. That's continuous deployment means, yes, that new feature is running. You run that new feature on the server so that end users can see that. Got it, Fatai? Understood? And yeah, in practical, we are going to see all the tools here. Okay? Like we work on automation, we work on tools, but not on coding. Correct, Gopichan. Exactly. Thank you all. So yeah, this is how the process of DevOps like automation is happening. Now that we understood the importance of DevOps, I believe you all understood why DevOps came in, right? Let us also talk about what DevOps is again. Let me summarize it. Continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous monitoring. Okay, this is what is DevOps. And yeah, here if you compare it with the software methodologies like waterfall, the main phases here are like development, okay, testing, deployment and monitoring, each happening one after the other, meaning only after complete coding it would go for testing, after testing then deployment and monitor. Okay, that is what is a typical waterfall methodology. And if you take agile, here development, testing are happening parallelly, so continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, but again deployment is manual. After complete integration and testing it would be deployed and then monitored, right? Now if you take up DevOps, yes, continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration along with the continuous deployment and continuous monitoring. Am I clear? Understood this, all of you? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So this is what is DevOps. I believe you all got an understanding of DevOps. Let me also clarify one more thing. Majority of you may be having the question, I believe, like if you are a developer, can you work on it? Yeah, like I said, everyone can work on it if you know to automate this process. You might be, see, this is called CI/CD pipeline. Okay, this automation from development till deployment is called CI/CD pipeline. We are going to talk about it. And yes, a DevOps person should be working at any stages in this pipeline. Okay, so you might be working as a developer or a tester, or else you might be a completely fresher. If you are a DevOps person, you don't work with a code at all. You will be working in automating this process. Am I clear now? Take an example of Facebook or Amazon, apply this. This is how it works, right? So now that, any more questions here? So yeah, now that we got an understanding of what is DevOps and why DevOps came in, let me walk you through the different tools and the pipeline, like what we are going to learn in the course. We just learned what is DevOps, why DevOps came in, right? Let us talk about what are the things we'll be learning in our course. See here, yeah, this is all what we have discussed, like waterfall methodology. This is like a notes for you. I'll share it after the class. So like drawbacks of waterfall methodology, agile methodology, why DevOps came in. You could refer this after the class, and the differences between waterfall and agile. You can see in waterfall, after design you have coding, testing, deployment. Same is the case with agile, right? Agile with a continuous deployment. So deployment is also continuous. Every new feature would be deployed continuously. It's not that all of this is going to happen after complete coding. Okay, what are all the things I'll cover? I'll also explain. Okay, give me a few minutes. So roles of responsibilities of a DevOps person means you should be able to work at any stage in the delivery pipeline. Okay, like once code is ready, once test cases are ready, you should be able to use the code, build it automatically, run the test cases automatically, and deploy it and configure the infrastructure also automatically. That's a role of a DevOps person. Right? What are the daily activities he does? From tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with a complete hands-on. You'll get a complete clarity. So what are the tools we are going to learn? Let's see. See, as a DevOps person, you should know a version control system. Okay, what is a version control system and all? I'll explain you a little later from tomorrow. I'll just list the tools here. There are so many version control systems like SVN, TFS and all. You need not learn all those tools, not required. You learn the very widely used market leaders in each category. Like we'll be learning Git here. Okay, so once you master Git, you can also switch to any other tools if your project demands. So we are learning Git. For every tool, we'll be starting from the basics till advanced concepts. Okay, so that even, see, there are certain projects which needs only certain tools. Means if you need only a couple of them also, you can have a great demand in the market, right? Certain projects demands human resources with a skills in a certain tools. So master each tool, that will help you a lot. So build automation tool like Maven will be covered, continuous integration tool Jenkins, containerization tool like Docker, Infrastructure as a core tools, Ansible, Terraform will be covered. Container orchestrator tools, Kubernetes and Docker Swarm will be covered. Kubernetes will be covering from basics till advanced. Of course, every tool from the basics, architecture of the tool, and then till advanced concepts will be covered. And continuous monitoring tool like Prometheus and Grafana, and cloud computing services for AWS. In our course, we are going to use AWS as our platform. We'll be using AWS services for setting up our lab, and certain AWS services which are also helpful in designing the delivery pipeline will be covered. The complete course content will be shared. You can go through it. This is the agenda. Any questions in this part? Hope your question is answered, Bhargav. We will be executing everything on AWS, not on Azure. Any more questions? And one more thing. See, all these tools, either you implement on Azure or AWS or GCP or on-premise, these tools are mandatory for a DevOps person. Means all of them may not be used in every project, but these are the tools. Either you implement on Azure or AWS or GCP or on-premise, these tools are very much important for a DevOps person. Okay, so like yes, the difference comes in the respective services. Like if you take AWS, they may be having some services which helps you implement the pipeline. That makes the difference. Correct? So AWS services will be learning some of them which helps us to implement the methodology. So this is the process. And yeah, see, this is the CI/CD delivery pipeline which we are talking about till now in our course. Let us talk about this. See, this is the CI/CD pipeline we are going to design in our course. Okay, in our class from the scratch, like we'll be taking some code written by developers. Okay, we'll use that code and execute this complete flow. Everything will be demonstrated practically with the real scenarios, like how it works and all, so that you can work in your projects more proficiently and with confidence. And the main agenda of this training is you should clear your interviews. Okay, once you expertise with the real approach of how these tools are used, obviously you can clear your interviews. That's the main agenda of the course. Also, whoever want to switch their career, whoever want to clear their interviews with the DevOps, and also you can add a lot of value for your projects with these DevOps skills and strategies, because we are going to demonstrate everything practically. This pipeline we are going to create in the course, right? Am I clear? So yeah, let us talk about this pipeline. See here, developers are writing the code. Okay, this is continuous development. And once developer write the code, they are going to place the code in Git. See here, I am telling you, I am highlighting where each tool comes in. Okay, it's not in a one day, you may not be able to master this entire pipeline, but where each tool is used, how each tool works in. Okay, let me give you an overview. This is a big picture of the course. As we go by, we are going to zoom into each part and learn everything in detail. We are learning both of them in the course, Fatah. We are going to learn Ansible and also Terraform. Where each tool comes in, let me tell you. See, developers are writing a code. They might be writing some hundreds of program files, right? The code may be written in Java or .NET or C# or Perl, PHP, whatever it is. They will store the code in version control systems like Git. I'm just giving you, I'm telling you again, I'm just giving you an overview. What is Git? Version control system to back up your code safely, to store your code safely, to maintain versions of your code. Okay, what exactly does, how to put the code in there, we'll learn. We'll not learn coding here, but how to manage the files here we'll learn. Because Git is a tool which can be used by anyone to store your file securely. So yes, developers write the code and place the code in Git. So whenever they write a new code, means whenever there is a new feature, it should automatically trigger the pipeline. So all the pipeline will be managed by a tool called Jenkins. Jenkins is like a heart for the entire delivery pipeline. In Jenkins, we'll be creating something like jobs. Jobs are nothing but tasks like job 1, job 2, job 3 and so on. How to do that? We are going to learn from tomorrow. We are going to practically do the hands-on. Here I'll tell you overview. So whenever developer wrote the code and place it on Git, we will create some job in Jenkins such a way that this job will pull the code and build it. Means build a tool. It doesn't mean that Jenkins is building it. Okay, Jenkins will use some right tool at the back end to perform the task. So yes, it may use some build automation tool like Maven, any tools for that matter. There are many tools under each category. You can master one tool under each category, which will help you to work with any other tools. So continuous builds, pull the code, build it. If builds are successful, they may have another job here, which is a test job, means which will run the test cases, maybe which are written in Selenium or a JUnit, whatever it is. Okay, so and then okay, once testing is successful, once test cases are fine, you may create another job, deploy job, which will use some Docker or Ansible to deploy the application automatically. These are all different tasks in Jenkins. So what is Jenkins? It's like a harp or it's like an orchestrator. Who is an orchestrator for a music band? In a music band, there will be an orchestrator, right? Who is an orchestrator? Like who waves his band and tells which instrument should be played at what level, isn't it? Have you ever noticed a music band? There'll be a orchestrator who just waves his band, right? He'll tell which instrument should be played at what level. Yeah, kind of instructor who gives some instructions, a kind of manager. Yes, via Jenkins, you can create a build job, which uses some build automation tool to build the code, which uses test automation tool to test the code. What is build? It's again separate concept. Okay, we will zoom into each part as we go by. We'll be working on each tool one by one and create this delivery pipeline in our course. So run the test cases written by testers, deploy it by using Docker and all. Means you can create different jobs in Jenkins which will pull the code, build it, test it and deploy it. Means yes, continuous testing, continuous building, continuous testing, then deploy to different environments like staging, then pre-prod, then to prod environment. So in this deployment process, again, Docker can be used, Ansible can be used. To manage them, again, you have Kubernetes. What each tool does, we learn. Okay, what Docker does, what Kubernetes does, those are all the things we'll be covering in our course. Just understand, yes, they are all helpful to deploy and manage your infrastructure, right? So yeah, different jobs or different tools working together. See, it's not only just learning each tool separately. We are not just learning Docker separately, Ansible separately, done. No, we are also seeing them. They work together. We put them together so that they are all working together to take your code till deployment automatically. Like I said, for the first time initially, we should design, more people should be working to create this pipeline. Once this pipeline is created, automatically, whenever developer put the code on Git, the whole process automatic. So you create so many jobs in Jenkins, you can also connect them in such a way that once build is successful, it will start test job. Next test job will start deploy job and so on. Finally, your code will be deployed and then monitor using some monitoring tool like Prometheus and Grafana. Am I clear? First, let me put till this part. Is this much clear for all of you? Continuous development, code is written by developers, pull and build by a DevOps team. Continuous builds, test case are written by testers, tested and then deployed using different tools. Am I clear? So we will see Jenkins working in integration with Git, Docker, Ansible and so on. Is that making sense, all of you? Any confusions, any questions? This is what I'm talking about from the beginning of our class, like automating. How do you automate? Through this CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration and continuous delivery pipeline. We'll take up some code base available and we'll construct this delivery pipeline in our course. So end-to-end scenario will be covered from the scratch so that you get a complete overview on the flow, how it works in projects, so that you can handle your interviews and the projects more effectively.
Okay.
Right? So here Docker comes in, like you pack your application along with the dependencies. See, don't worry about all this. I'll take you through each tool from the basics. Don't understand what is meant by packing your code and all. We'll learn everything. Don't worry about the technical terms or the terminology. We'll be get used to all of them as we spend couple of hours on every tool. Okay, so deploy it and monitor it. Once monitored, how is the application? How are the servers? Feedback would be sent to the respective team. Of course, not always to developers, the respective team so that they can take necessary steps and work on. And all this runs on AWS and also will use some AWS services to implement this methodology. Terraform is used to create your infrastructure. So we'll use it to create our infrastructure on AWS. Any questions in this pipeline? That's a big picture, okay? It will take some couple of weeks to do this. What we'll do? First, we'll start learning Git. Okay, so from here, step by step, first week, maybe week or week and a half for Git, and then Maven, Jenkins, then Docker. Each tool will be learning and creating this pipeline slowly. So by the time we complete the course, you will be proficient enough to design this pipeline and you will be able to work at any stages in this pipeline. Okay, in some projects in real time, some of the companies may be assigning different people for each job here. Like you might be assigned to continuous builds, you might be someone maybe for testing, someone maybe for deployment tasks. But you should be able to work at any stage, be you are a developer or a tester, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of what core skills you have. Okay, you should be able to work at any stage in this pipeline and automate the whole process, and that is the agenda of our course. Right? Any questions on this page? Have you got an overview?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Aravind. Thank you, all of you, for confirming. Any confusions, you could put your queries. So this is the big picture. Like I said, we'll be working on each stage in detail. I will share the recordings short, Sandeep. Please send me your email ID in the private chat. Share the email IDs in the private chat so that I'll send you the recordings and also the presentations. Send me the email IDs privately in the chat window. And yeah, I'll talk about the prerequisites as well. Coming here, yes, this training will help you work on end-to-end CI/CD pipeline design. All real scenarios will be covered so that you can work in your projects very effectively with confidence. And like I said, see, we are also learning each tool from basics till advanced, right? So that what happens, you could also switch or work to any other tool under the category. Right, so that you have more job openings, means you could handle more projects very effectively. That's another idea of it, right? So you could handle your projects and interviews more effectively. So that is all for the demo. Any more questions you have, any concerns, anything else, you could put your queries. Every day we'll be meeting at the same time. Yeah, please stay back. There are a few more things I need to tell. See, there are some prerequisites for the course in the sense Linux basics are good to have. Like if you have Linux basics, it will be very much helpful because many of the DevOps tools needs Linux platform. But if you are new, you need not worry. I'm going to take up a session tomorrow covering Linux basics, and also lab setup will be done tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be creating our lab because we should start hands-on, right? So we'll be creating our lab tomorrow. We'll be doing complete lab setup and the Linux basics. And also as we go by whatever Linux concepts comes up, I'll be teaching you them. So no prerequisites are required. Everything I'll be teaching from the beginning. Hope I answered your question, Gopichand.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And every day you will get the recordings as well as the complete the documentation, the commands, everything you will get access to. Additional references, interview questions, all of them will be provided, and also will help you with the resume preparation. You can see here, this is the complete drive you will get. For each tool there are a lot of references, lot of notes added. All this will be shared with you. We'll be creating our lab on AWS, Fatah. So minimum requirement is enough. We'll be using our lab on AWS. Your VMs will be running on AWS. So you need not have any specific requirements to work with. Just a normal laptop will do. We are going to create our lab here, and yeah. Do you want me to show you a pipeline which we are working on from few days in another batch? If you are interested, just stay back. I'll just show you a pipeline which we created in the running batches. Actually, we were till Docker completed. It's a we are at Docker. I'll show you just the pipeline. Yeah. Any more questions? Meanwhile, anything else? Do share your email IDs to send you the recording and also to send you the documentation for the class, and also get ready for the lab setup tomorrow. Any more questions? Anything else? Do let me know. Were all the concepts clear, whatever we discussed today?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please tell me.
Ma'am, can you share your contact number so that in case we try offline and we get any errors, we can reach out to you?
Sure, you will get a complete support from me on WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, any questions you have, you can ping me and reach me on WhatsApp.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
May I know who is this?
I have one question. DevOps came in the picture last 4-5 years, and
Yeah,
still some of the big companies still using agile methodology.
yeah.
Why so?
Agile methodology they were still using, but majority of the companies were trying to step into. See, immediately stepping into DevOps is not just which happens in an overnight, right? It takes some time. It takes some time and process. Many people should be involved to switch the process or switch the methodology. So companies, almost all the companies, that's what I'm telling. In couple of years in 2023, by 2023, definitely every company will be stepping into it. There might be few companies which are still implementing it, but definitely everyone will switch into it because of the revolution the Docker containers brought, particularly the way how you are deploying and how you are developing. Definitely every company will be stepping into it. Some of them are still using it, means yeah, it's not something they can just achieve in an overnight. It takes some time for the switch or for the progress. Okay. See here, we were just we have just completed Git, Maven, and yeah, that's all. Docker is not yet completed. See this pipeline. Okay, compiling, like it's a code is compiled, tested, like unit test cases were executed, and the code is packaged. Like continuous build happen here. After this, yeah, slowly, like one by one, we'll be continue our delivery pipeline. After this comes another stage of packing your application with the Docker images. Okay, let me show you here. Yes, Docker images will be built and pack your application. Okay, then comes the next stage of deploying it via Ansible. Ansible job comes in. Okay, this is your Jenkins page. This is how you have your Jenkins. Okay, once it is deployed, again, let's say first it is deployed into some test environments. Then deploy the application or Docker image again in a Kubernetes cluster, right? And all this infrastructure, these are all some servers where you are testing and deploying. This infrastructure will be provisioned by Terraform. So this is how we'll be building our pipeline practically with the complete hands-on, right? Half of it is done in the morning batch. Like, yeah, we are going to complete it. Got it, all of you? So I just want to show you so that you can see practically what I have shown in the presentation. So slowly.
Hi Preethi, Terraform requires any language or coding?
Terraform code will be written in HCL, Haskell Corp language. Okay, but you need not worry about like Java, you need to learn so much and write the code. No. Here what happens with these tools are, these are infrastructure as a code tools. Okay, so here when you are writing the code, you have already the formats or the templates. Means for example, let's suppose using Terraform, I want to create an EC2 instance. Okay, Terraform official documentation will have the complete code. You can just copy and adjust it and modify it. Okay, you need not write from the scratch, and also the code would be easily understood, just like readable. It's not like something like Java, you are writing so many components, classes, objects. No, not that kind of coding, but yeah, you have a flexibility of getting the code from the official document and adjust it accordingly. Just modify, replace the values. Got it?
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Any more queries? So anything else, or if you want to continue from tomorrow, send me a confirmation. You can reach your organizers, whoever have shared you the link. Okay, you can reach your organizers, confirm them to join the class from tomorrow. Course duration is 60 hours, Gopishan. It is 60 hours of the course, 1 to 1.5 hour daily. Totally, this will be the duration. So that it will give you enough time to do the hands-on. You could complete your hands-on every day. Every day you should go through the hands-on. Any questions, get back to me, resolve your queries there and there, then and there, and proceed. See, because DevOps is a combination of multiple skills, like multiple tools you should know. You should know the concepts, the strategies, right? So it takes a good enough time to get into. So it is a 60-hour course every day with a complete hands-on, and real scenarios will be covered. Were all the concepts clear, or any questions or confusion still for any one of you? All right then. Yeah, you could also reach me on WhatsApp or reach your organizers, confirm, and to continue from tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do the lab setup, like lab creation, and we'll start with our first tool, Git. Maybe tomorrow we'll be doing our Linux basics. Okay, we'll brush our Linux skills tomorrow. If you already know Linux, we'll refresh those skills and we'll proceed.
One class is daily for 2 hours or 1 hour?
1 to 1.5 hours. It will be 1 to 1.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if the topic is huge, we may be spending 1.5 hours or else 1 hour and then questionnaire. So overall, it would be 1 to 1.5 hours daily.
Okay.
As it's a demo and a first session, we'll be having a 1 hour session. We'll be winding up here. And see you all tomorrow. Thank you all once again for joining me for the demo class. Hope you all liked it. Do let me know and reach your organizers to continue from tomorrow. And bye everyone. Have a great day. Thank you all for joining. And leave me your email IDs in the private chat window to share you the content. Thank you all once again and bye everyone.
Thanks, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Allah.
Yes? Anyone? Okay.